At 3 a.m., a sound like a runaway train tore me out of sleep. I staggered barefoot across the icy floor, grabbed a flashlight, and ran outside, thinking a burst pipe or a freak storm. Instead, my heart froze. A wall of water and heavy sludge came barreling down the hill, crashing into my workshop, seeping through cracks, drowning everything inside my custom furniture, antique tools. My grandfather's heirloom chisel shears of sweat and soul dissolved in a brown tide, while I stood soaked and powerless, rain burning my face. I didn't know at the time that this wasn't nature's work. It was Monica, the HOA's self-proclaimed dictator, and she had yet to discover that some floods strike back twice as bitterly. The flood slackened, but the destruction was complete. I waded to the workshop, yanked open the battered door, and confronted a nightmare. Shelves pulled down benches, overturned a mahogany table for a client. Due next week warped beyond saving. It wasn't money. It was personal, like someone had burned my life's work. This was no accident, it was a hit. I put on boots and slogged uphill flashlight, slicing through the dark 50 yards near the HOA's property line. I discovered it a new PVC pipe protruding from turned-over dirt, smelling of fresh concrete, pointed like a cannon at my land. Water dripped from its rim. The smoking gun of my destruction. Someone had diverted runoff to strike at me secretly without permissions or regard by dawn. The rain had ceased, but my fury blazed stronger. I took photos of the pipe. The churned ground, the muddy cascaded spilled forth when I saw Monica standing outside the HOA office, clipboard in hand, smiling as she walked on sidewalks like a minor empress. I knew my target. I stormed over boots with mud caked on them and demanded to know. She hardly looked up, her sneer to the point of slicing. "Maybe if you had proper drainage you wouldn't have this issue," she snapped, tapping her pen with false sweetness, then followed up with, "I could be fined for allowing runoff hit HOA sidewalks." The audacity stunned me into silence for 10 seconds, fists clenching the pictures. That's when it clicked. Logic was a waste, and Monica underestimated me. I wasn't only repairing this, I'd turn her darling clubhouse into a swamp. She'd have to paddle to escape. I mapped out hills design, runoff routes, soil categories, slopes with the right nudge that soil might turn into a muddy landslide. I smiled the genuine first actual smile of the day they wanted to get wet, and I'd play by the rules exactly, and with enough mud to bury their pride. It had to seal airtight, one misstep, and Monica would sue me for it. It also had to strike hard enough to cause them to reconsider ever crossing anyone again. I had to allies, friends with talents, equipment, and a common dislike of the HOA's authoritarianism as I locked up the destroyed workshop. Anticipation took the place of despair. Monica had no idea what she'd created, but she was going to learn about it. Morning brought clarity keener than my finest chisel. I drove to the county records building, a dingy brick structure that smelled of aged paper. I needed evidence. The HOA's drainage was unlawful, and a means to reverse their prank back on them. An hour of digging through maps and permits revealed gold. The HOA's approved landscaping plan from 6 months prior indicated drainage, redirected elsewhere. Not at my place. They'd made changes without approval and unethical and illegal. I copied it all. Maps, signatures, dates, a pamphlet on water rights sealed the deal. Landowners were responsible for runoff damage, particularly mud flows from construction. Monica had authored. Her own doom suing was enticing but gradual. I desired impact. Now the clubhouse's neighboring lotweed choked piled with loose dirt, and a broken irrigation system was my weapon. Shallow trenches, softened soil, and gravity could turn it into a sludge river during the next storm. No illegal mods, just nature's push. I mapped elevations, sketched water paths, and envisioned the deluge. It had to look natural, but hit like a freight train. I called old construction buddy Sam, a backhoe wizard, Mike, a plumber Anna, a landscaping pro over diner burgers. I mapped out the scheme. Their anger rivaled mine. They too had been bullied by the HOA. Sam would dig trenches under the guise of irrigation maintenance. Mike would rig old sprinkler pipes to leak on purpose. Anna would cover our work with mulch. We weren't doing it for money, justice for nights. We labored like ghosts, moving dirt, sloping trenches, rigging pipes under the light of the moon. By day vests were worn, hauled hoses, and we looked like hired men. Monica passed once, staring at us suspiciously, but silent. She thought we were repairing her messer underneath her immaculate. We constructed subtle, we to dam slow water dirt, to fall under pressure, and puddles to prime the soil into goo. It was punishing, but every shovel seemed like sculpting a masterpiece from spite by night. 5, it was done from the summit. I saw the clubhouse. Glowing below, unaware, a storm was predicted, and I imagined homeowners in brunch attire, wading through muck Monica, screaming as her empire sank to cover my ass. I concealed trail cameras in trees, and mock sprinklers capturing every trickle to demonstrate it was rain and gravity. Not sabotage, the storm struck like a beast by noon. Black clouds unleashed sheets of rain gutters overflowing. I slipped into a raincoat boots squelching to the lot. Water pulled behind our dams, mud churning into a thick soup from a pine's cover. I watched the beast swell below the clubhouse, buzz cars pulling in heels, women dodging rain polos, men running for cover. Monica outside the entrance clipboard, clutched yelling at a volunteer, wrestling an awning. They had no idea they were having a gala in a trap. The first dam ruptured silently, a trickle flowing downhill. Gravity got the better of the trickle, swelling into a surge carrying dirt and debris. In minutes, a brown river slid toward the clubhouse. Screams pierced the rain as guests settled into mud. Monica spun eyes wide as sludge swallowed curbs, flower beds, and her precious landscaping cars skidded. A catering truck crashed into a fountain. Stone-shattering mud breached the clubhouse doors, flooding pastel tables and floral displays. Guests scrambled onto chairs, clutching purses, shrieking. Monica tried to fight, jamming herself against the door like she could stop nature. She slipped face-planting into muck dress, ruined hair plastered. I bit my cheek to stifle a laugh. The cameras caught it all. Chaos reigned, heels sank. Umbrella snapped an SUV, smashed the clubhouse railing inside. Furniture floated carpet-stained. Monica yelled for mops, useless, against the swamp guests. Fled tires spinning in the lot soup. I checked the camera's perfect footage of rain mud and no foul play. Monica could scream sabotage, but the truth was ironclad as the rain eased. The clubhouse was a ruin, her empire, a joke. I trudged home, boots heavy, satisfaction lighter than air. The actual hit was impending, legal, public, and definite by morning. The subdivision buzzed, viral clips demonstrated the muddied catastrophe, guests slipping cakes, collapsing Monica, thrashing like a swamp creature at 10 a.m. She banged my door, 2 grim board members flanking her, brandishing a soggy folder. "You did this!" she bellowed, accusing me of destruction. I placed shoulder against the doorframe, unruffled, and produced a flash drive. "Call the cops," I uttered. "But look at this first." It had video evidence of their illegal drainage, evidence their neglect caused the flood. She grabbed it. Cursing and left by noon, county engineers and inspectors descended on the HOA office, interrogating Monica. As she flailed, my cameras provided proof of the mudslide's natural course and previous HOA tampering. Their insurance rejected claims due to negligence, finds fault in construction infractions, environmental damage, safety violations. A class action suit by residents outraged over flooded basement and destroyed yards covered them up further. That evening's HOA meeting was a circus. Residents filled a rented room, yelling for resignations. Monica pounded a gavel, but the crowd bellowed, playing looped video of her muddy tumble. The no-confidence vote was a massacre. 92 to remove her, for to retain her, probably her own crew. She ran Jared grass, hurled at her SUV as it sprayed sludge. The clubhouse remained fenced off its foundation. Shot interiors, gutted with fines and lawsuits draining money. It was later repossessed. Funded for a park, Monica's house stood unsold. Her name, Poisonous. She relocated to a bargain condo. Her HOA dreams dead after her mudslide notoriety spread. My workshop increased, a new, larger secured, financed by settlements and neighbor donations at its opening barbecue. The neighborhood celebrated freedom. Drone shots caught our happiness against the clubhouse's Rihanna perfect symbol as the bonfire roared. I drank a beer thinking Monica's flood had almost destroyed me. But it shaped something better. The mud did not just destroy her. It reformed us wild and free.